Hello, this is Katrina Brittingham with High Tea with Me. I have my tea and I hope you brought your favorite beverage. Today we are going to discuss being encouraged during your job search and how to stay encouraged during your job search. Because a lot of things can happen in your job search, and the longer it takes for you to find a job, the more discouraged you can get. Sometimes, even in the beginning, you could be discouraged because there are times where we don't necessarily leave our jobs voluntarily. Um, a layoff happens, downsizing happens, consolidations in departments happen, and we find ourselves unemployed. I went through that also in my career prior to becoming a full-time coach. I've been a coach for several years, and I started part-time, and now full-time. Have been full-time for some time. I found myself full-time faster than I wanted to because that's what happened to me, where there was some consolidation and departments were completely eliminated. Managers lost their jobs. Um, C-suite executives, VPs, everything. And so here I was thrusted into my career, my retirement plan, I called it, um, because I wanted to make sure that I was secure prior to moving into my business full time. And that's what you're, supposed to do. Make sure that you are secure in your career and in your business before you have that as your bread and butter. But sometimes situations and circumstances happen where you find yourself there. And because I am a spiritual person, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and God puts us in places where we wouldn't have gone ourselves because we would have been a little too afraid, or maybe a little overly cautious. I'll say maybe not afraid to be in a certain position. And that even happens when you have been working for a company. Sometimes we can get comfortable places, and there are places that we are supposed to be and to go and to do, and we would never do those things while we're comfortable in those situations. If you look at the greatest actors, actresses, um, entrepreneurs, a lot of times they were thrust into where they ended up being, because they found themselves in a place where they had no other choice. They had to start all over. And so that's something that I want to encourage you with, that this here is not your end. It is not over for you. And to be open to the possibilities, be open to what could be for you. So, what I would say to encourage you, of course, you want to do a job search. You want to see what resources you have. Can you get unemployment? It can be tough because you have people who've never been on unemployment ever. And now all of a sudden you have to fill out all these forms where you tell all of your personal business, give them all of your bills, and everything like that. Give them your income if you have any other income coming in. It's just a lot to take in. And then they have the career centers where they have you fill out a resume, they have you go online, and now you're in this foreign world of searching for a job, um, dealing with a system that reads your resume before human eyes get to it, to make sure that your resume gets past the gatekeeper of the robots that are reading your resume before the human comes and takes 8 seconds to glance at your resume to say that you are qualified. for this job. And then you will have possibly the phone interview where you're on the phone talking to someone you can't see on the other end who's judging you based on a few minute conversation on the phone. You may think that that it went well, and then you get that dreaded email. Well, we decided to go with another candidate, or we decided to continue our job search with someone else. It can be daunting and scary, especially if you're a parent, because now you still have to take care of your children. You still may have daycare, school bills, tuition that you have to pay for, and you don't have an income coming in, or you have a portion of your income coming in, which is unemployment is based on your highest quarter out of a year. And so, that is something that you would have to contend with too. And you look at that paper like, wow, this is not even what I was making. Um, this is not even what I was making when I was working. So how am I going to do this? And then so you start to, panic a little bit. Now you had healthcare and now you don't. And then you get COBRA, and it is 2, 3, sometimes 4 times what you were paying with the company. And then you have to deal with the exchange. And then the exchange will base on your tax return from when you were working. And they'll tell you you have to pay $300, $400, $500, $600 for healthcare for yourself. And if you have children, it's even more. So what do you do? Well, there are programs out there, people that you can speak to, that will help you navigate through the waters. You can go to the job center. I would say be patient with that, because you're dealing with people who are dealing with a lot of frustrated, angry people, and they may have, everyone has a good day and bad day at work. So you have to deal with that, and someone who really may not care about your situation, but you need to get the information that you need to make sure that you can stay afloat. They do have CHIP insurance for your children that will be low cost or free. So you would just need to fill out the paperwork for that online. They do have an extensive questionnaire where they ask you for information, again, going into, what you have in your savings, what you have in your 401k, if you have any retirement money, any thing that you might have in checking. They go through all of that just to see your eligibility. You might want to consider going to a temp agency. And I won't even say temp agency. They don't call them temp agencies anymore. They're staffing agencies. So you can find temporary work, short-term temporary, long-term temporary, temp to perm, and some of them even have direct hire, where you won't necessarily be temping. They will basically they act as the recruiter and the talent acquisition person for that role. And so they screen talent for the company, and then they send the candidate over, and you will have a phone interview or a face-to-face interview with the recruiter, and the recruiter will, basically ask you the same questions that they would ask you in a regular interview, and they would decide whether they want to hire you. The same thing happens with temp work too. They interview you and they find out if you are the best candidate for the role, and then they bring you in for a temporary assignment. This is good because you are with a company. So even if you do several assignments, during that time frame, like if you were with the staffing agency for a year or 2 years, the agency is your employer. So that will help fill the gap on your resume because you were actually working for the agency during that time frame. You have agencies that once you are a temp after a certain amount of time, some of them are immediate, but some you have to wait a 90-day period and you get health insurance. So you would have that window where you won't have insurance. And I found myself in the perfect storm one time where I was waiting to become full-time on an assignment, and I was a waiting for the insurance, and I was in the 90-day period, and I was literally a month away from getting the insurance, and I got sick and I was in the hospital with no insurance. um, so you do run that risk. They do have programs that help you with your medical bills in that situation when you don't have health insurance. Again, it's another situation where you are giving a lot of your information, um, personal information, for them to help you. And sometimes it can be very challenging and degrading when you've worked all of your life and you find yourself in that situation, because not everyone, not all the case managers at the hospital are all um, supportive, because they deal with different things every day and every case is different. But, you know, sometimes people typecast you, especially when you're African American female, where they feel like you just been in and out of the system all your life and you're working the system um, and everything. And, you know, you're sitting there like, wow, like I've had insurance all my life. And now, because of life and circumstances, I find myself right in the little sweet spot where I don't have health insurance. And I don't know what to do. For me, it was, I'm still a little emotional about that because I worked in health insurance all my life. And part of my job was to help people who did not have insurance get insurance. I was very courteous to people during my career, trying to help people get the resources they needed. And at the time I needed it, there was nobody there that was courteous to me. And they really made me feel really, really bad um, about myself. And I ended up having a really bad sickness. I'm literally laying in critical care. And I have the case manager running in every half an hour saying, oh, well, you don't have insurance. You don't have insurance. What are you going to do? How are you going to pay the bill? And I'm sitting there like literally fighting, for my life. um, and to find out that I have this illness that I had been battling for quite some time, apparently, because I had been going back and forth to the hospital and trying to figure out what was going on. I was blowing up. Um, I couldn't seem to get the weight off of me. I was going to the gym 5 days a week, and I was eating pretty healthy, and I would just swell up and have this swollen look, and was going from test after test and having all kinds of um, tests and procedures just to figure out what was going on. And it wasn't until I ended up in critical care where I received the diagnosis, and it is a treatable condition, but I went from being me and having um, a physical once a year and being okay to running back and forth for a couple years to the doctor. It had got to the point it was like every 2 weeks. And then being told it was everything was fine, and it was like in my mind almost. And to overnight, getting sick actually on the job, go home, go to the ER, and being told, well, we're rushing you to critical care and we're going to see if you're going to make it through the night, because pretty much all your systems are shutting down. You're dying. Um, so this was in the midst of me getting a new job and transitioning, and um, so it's things happen. Life happens. Just because, um, you know, just because you lose a job doesn't mean that life doesn't still happen to you. And so I'm giving this testimony. I wasn't even planning to give this testimony um, here. I was going to come a whole different way, but you know, um, God knows all things well, and there's somebody out there who needs to hear this, who's been through this or is going through this, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Because now my illness is managed. Um, thank goodness. I was at the point where I was paying $200, $250 a month on the medication and the supplies that I needed to keep myself alive. Um, and again, this was someone who went to the doctor all the time, got her shots, got her flu shots, did everything that she was told to do, health wise, and everything. She worked 20 years in healthcare, and now this. Um, but I sat in the intensive care unit, the critical care unit, and I was there by myself because family and friends tend, to leave and go about their business, and you're sitting there in between nurses and doctors coming in to make sure that you're all right. And I sat and I thought about my career and my life. And when I lost my job, I was very um, upset about it. I felt like I had done a great job um, in my career. I moved up the ladder and everything, but there was always something that seemed like it was missing in my life and my career. And I knew what that was. Like I spent a lot of time working for someone else, saving them money, building departments and things. But I had this business that was sitting on the side. And that was my career services building business, Ventureready. And I found myself doing it some evenings and weekends. I was working 7 days a week. Um, so on top of the sickness, I was um, stressed out. I didn't get a lot of rest. So that contributed to my illness too. So I had said to myself that if I made it out of here, um, that I would do what I needed to do to make sure that my business happened. And I promised God that I would do that because I had a gift working with people and helping them find careers and jobs and turning their job searches around and helping people who were in transition and went from one industry to the next, um, and everything, and help really, just like my description says, ease the pain of transition and ease the fear of transition. And here I was in transition, and I was not the exception to the rule. I really did fear what was the unknown in my life. And so I took some time, and I got myself together. I cried. I did have the why me moment. Um, and then I got myself together and I talked to God and I asked Him to help me to be the woman that He wanted me to be, to do what He wanted me to do. And I let Him know that I would not turn away from it. I would do what I needed to do. So fast forward some months, and I'm doing my business and doing the things that I need to do. I am back to work. I was back to work then, and I was like, okay, I said I was going to do this. So I started doing my business and going out on Facebook and things like that. And um, there was this opportunity to host your own radio show. And that was always a goal of mine to do that. And so I I asked about it, and it was something that I could afford, and so I signed up for it. And then there was an opportunity to be a station owner. I had no idea, um, you know, how to run a radio station, online radio station, but something just started poking. Go ahead, do it, do it, do it. And so I did that, and uh, things just kind of really took off for me there. And um, I had an overwhelming flood of people who were gracious enough and kind enough to be guests on the show. And that airs every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And I have not looked back, and it's been a great ride. It's been exciting every week having the show, and then the opportunity to have my own TV station came about, and here I am on High Tea with Me, and I have a TV station now too. So I'm officially a broadcasting network, and I never thought that I would be in this place. And this is all because of the transitions in my life and the fact that I did not stay down, and I looked for the opportunities in my life. And I've made some new connections, some new friends, some new colleagues through the radio show and TV show. And I'm so excited and so blessed to have this. I just received notice today that I have a Roku channel. If you have Roku, you will be able to see the show on an actual channel, and you'll be able to see the other programming on uh, that channel too. And I have some great things coming um, forward on the network, on the TV network. So I'm excited about that and those things that are coming up. So I am very happy um, by those things. But I will definitely say, like, this is a Christian station. It's a Christian uh, on a Christian network, um, Christian broadcasting. And so, yes, I do believe in prayer. I believe in taking that time and reading God's word, because that's what I did. I read His word. I quoted His word, that He knows the plans He has for me, plans of good and not evil, and to bring me to an expected end. And, you know, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And just reading His word and praying and talking to Him has given me so much peace and encouragement that I didn't even think that I could have in points in my life. And I would say that to me that was the driving factor. And once I opened myself up to his plan for my life, how things started to open and doors started to open for me. And so I would admonish you to do that. I know people believe in other things. I can't really comment on those things, but if you tap into that, you know, um, and know that life is not over because you lost this job. Um, you know, there's another job out there for you. There's another opportunity out there for you. It does take time. They do have resources to help you and everything. And I think I actually may do a video on the different things that are available, at least in Pennsylvania, because I'm in Pennsylvania. So I'll be able to give you that information for that and what's available for that, so you can see what the instructions are, so you can get the help you have. I know that they have food banks available in your area across the country, and you can look up the local food banks and go there. Um, well, even if you're employed, and you're struggling, they have food banks that'll help you. So that'll help. I do know that they have the SNAP food program that you may qualify for. Um, Again, if you know, qualify for unemployment, it may not be your whole paycheck, but it's something to help you to get on your feet. And again, you have the temp agencies. You can take a um, temporary job while you're looking, and it may not be what you're used to, but when you're on unemployment, you still can get a certain amount of money above that and still get your unemployment, and that could be something that helps sustain you while you are looking for a position. Um, so there are um, things that help you during your time and during your struggle and everything like that. And like I said, I would admonish you to get around some positive people. Get a coach if you can afford one. Get a coach to help you navigate your skills and your career and help you with some life planning to get you where you need to be. Because sometimes just having a schedule when you're unemployed, where you're not sleeping half the day, you're getting up early in the morning, you have your day planned out to do different things, that helps keep you motivated, um, you know, during your unemployment time. So I would say to do that, you know, get a schedule. Um, especially if you have children, you can still get up, get them ready, clean the house, go for a walk, um, uh, uh, find a place where you can do uh, volunteer work. That's an excellent one. Do some volunteer work. Help some people who are less fortunate than you, because no matter what you're going through, there is someone going through worse than you. And, just helping and being a help to people uh, is encouraging, you know. So that helps to, help you while you're getting things together. And volunteer work is experience, and you can put that on your resume too. That helps fill a gap in your resume. Um, I don't think I have anything else to say on that. Again, I really went way off script for this video and kind of opened myself up a little more than I expected to open myself up with uh, the, the fear of transition and the things that happen while you're in transition, and how you have to keep, uh, you know, encouraged and things happen even still. Life still continues to happen after decisions are made corporately regarding your career and things. So I would just say stay encouraged. If you need any encouragement, you can contact me at info@ventureready.net. You can hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/ventureready. That's venture, like I'm starting a new venture and ready. I'm ready. You can go to my personal Facebook page and send me a message, facebook.com/Katrina Brittingham. And I will also have the link to the Roku link so that you can get the channel and look at the programming. Again, we have the Career GPS, which provides encouragement and experts and for career development and career transition every Wednesday. And this Wednesday, we do have someone who is going to be coming on as a guest who has some more information, and you'll see that on the Facebook page too. I'll have the actual advertisement out there for him. He will be a great asset to you to come and listen. So I do thank you very, very much for your time and for your listening. And I'll see you on another episode of High Tea with Me.